Hello, Rick here with another Trek Bestiary, this time on the Devils of the Dark, the misunderstood Horta. Despite being called Devils in the Dark, the Horta, or Janus Hominidi, is generally not malevolent. They are, however, territorial and defensive, also sentient. So technically not a beast, but then neither was Armus, so these videos apparently get a little flexible. I also was surprised at the amount of memory beta content about these beings that there is, so I'll touch on that after the canonical information. First encountered on Janus 1620-67, the Horta were in the midst of a very delicate time of their life cycle, a period of renewal where the entire species almost goes extinct. Settled in 2210, the Federation mining colony accidentally destroyed thousands of Horta eggs as the automated machines burrowed. The distressed mother began to try to fend off the miners, which led to a lot more deaths until the catastrophic misunderstanding was resolved and official first contact established. The Horta are silicone-based and have a fibrous mineral skin which looks almost like molten rock but is somewhat flexible. Their underbelly was a sheet of softer, undulating muscle and cilia which propelled them around. Their rock-like outer shell made them very difficult to scan for, as coupled with their surrounding environment of rock, tricorders often read them as minerals. Only when they were much closer could their life signs be detected. The outer layer also functioned very well as armour, and they were resistant to energy fire, being downright immune to low-level discharges and stuns. Although they weren't made from neutronium or anything, so the more powerful burst could injure them. Their sensory organs are rudimentary, but many. They detect light in the infrared spectrum, can smell and taste through touch, and sense tremors and vibrations around them. They are also mildly empathic. They also do not need air to breathe, and can even survive in a complete vacuum for a time, which is probably because they live deep underground. The Horta can burrow very easily through most naturally occurring rocks, minerals and metal deposits by secreting a very powerful acid. This compound was so dangerous that it would almost completely dissolve a person in seconds, leaving only trace fragments. It was secreted through ducts around the body, and they could squirt it with such precision as to be able to carve lettering onto the floor. The reason for their tunnellings is twofold. First off, it's how they expand their dens, and secondly, they consume the minerals that they melt as sustenance. This leaves behind very smooth, circular tunnels, similar but smoother than those left by magma. Such Horta dens tend to be very deep underground. The one on Janus 6 was 23 floors deep, and sporadically among these corridors were larger chambers. These chambers were named by the Horta, things like the Chamber of Ages, the Altar, the Memory Stone, and so on. The Vault of Tomorrow was the name they gave to their hatchery. Every 50,000 years the Horta gather and lay their eggs en masse. There could be several thousand of them. Then they all die off except one. That chosen one becomes the Mother Horta, who nurses and protects the hatchery and its contents of silicon-shelled, perfectly spherical, foot-wide silver eggs. After some time, decades apparently, the eggs hatch and the species is renewed. This is where we get into memory beta portion of their life cycles. When first born, the infants share a telepathic hive mind with the mother as the nexus. They grow in a matter of days, constantly eating and burrowing together, forming their armour as they go. However, within a few years of them hatching, the mother Horta dies, and they lose their telepathic connection, becoming individuals. With the only appearance of the Horta in TOS, Starfleet ended the misunderstanding by making a deal with the Horta of Janus 6 in which the Horta would aid their mining efforts while the miners would protect their eggs. Remarkably forgiving of the Horta, to be honest, but they agreed. Other stories state that in 2269, Starfleet needed to break up a very large and dangerous asteroid, and they decided to ask the Horta of Janus 6 for aid. The Horta were able to tunnel through the rock, rendering it hollow enough to be destroyed safely. This also had the knock-on effect of exposing the new Horta generation to interstellar travel, and ever since, the Horta have continued to work alongside Starfleet mining outposts all across the stars. seemingly happy to do so, including Bajor's moon of Barado. In 2270, a Horta even joined Starfleet, one Dahai Ihor Narat. It served on the Enterprise from 2275 to 2278 and was still a lieutenant in service by 2287. He was equipped with a vocalization translator to interpret his thoughts and noises into an understandable language. Before this, Starfleet had communicated through writing, mime, and telepathy where possible. Many other Horta joined Starfleet after the first, with individuals such as Chwolok serving on Riker's USS Titan in 2381. This is less strange the more I think on it, as the Horta, despite their appearance and animal-like behaviour during the renewal, are sentient and more adaptable than you may think. Plus, they definitely constitute strange new lifeforms, so of course the Federation would like to learn from them. By 2305, the Horta Sanat was representing Janus 6 on the Federation Council, and in 2380, the Horta had been recognised as Federation citizens with all of the rights that entailed. Starfleet even manufactured several Horta starships. These were filled entirely with stone and minerals so that the Horta could tunnel through the interior and shape them how they saw fit. Basically a spaceship-shaped asteroid crammed with all the tech you'd need to fly it at warp. So, there we have it, the lore and a little extra on the Horta. Not bad for a sentient rock blob, and I have to say they are remarkably understanding for a species who had almost half a generation destroyed and now work for the organisation that did it. Wait, that's bad. Are Starfleet the bad guys? Thanks for watching the Bestiary, and I'll see you next time for another lore video. I've been Rick, thanks again, and goodbye.